Hey guys, MrStardustRicon here, and what is up? Welcome back to another session of Weeb Weekends. Last time we finished off Love at First Sight, which I ended up enjoying, and I said that we were going to be diving into DearDrops this time. DearDrops is a VN about building a band, about an ex-violinist player, I want to say, that returns to his hometown and ends up still wanting to pursue a path in music even after some accident happened in the past regarding his violinist career, and instead chooses to pursue a completely different approach to music. Instead of going for the more classical route, he goes for the much more rock-based orientation instead, which I am definitely looking forward to seeing. This was a Christmas gift, not not like last Christmas, but the Christmas before, and it was a gift from a friend of mine from the FGC who gifted this game to me and was like, hey, this game was on sale from in a big manga gamer sale, and I wanted you to try it out because this is one of my favorite VNs and I think you'll like it a lot. So, which I replied, oh yeah, sure, this sounds great. Don't worry, I'll try it out immediately. And here we are, over a year and a half later, and I still haven't made the time to actually go and start. Oh, well, that is a lie. I have started this up. I have gotten a decent way into this VN. Unfortunately, at the beginning of this year, my computer just had a complete shutdown, and everything that was on my hard drive was unsalvageable because it was there was also a hard drive failure. So all my progress on DearDrops is now gone, and originally I wasn't planning on doing this as a Weeb weekend because I was like, I'll just go ahead and read this on my own time, and that way I can get it done faster. But I didn't end up finishing it, and because I had to start from the beginning again, I figured, you know what, might as well document my experience and my reactions here for the Let's Play channel and for this session of Weeb Weekends. So, if I'm all done stuttering over my own words, let's go ahead and jump into it. There is something that we have to do immediately, though, because I tested this out just a little bit, just so I could see how things were going and make sure the recording process and everything like that was good. And as you can see, the auto scroll on text is abysmal, so we're going to want to change that up real quick. Let's change this message speed to like somewhere around here. Is that good? Probably. This is a dream I have often. No, that is still like pretty slow. I think we can increase that. No! Okay. Sorry. New buttons, new menus. Always have to play around with menus when we start a new VN. But yeah, no. Just gotta test around with different stuff like that. Sorry about that. This is a dream I have. A dream I often have. A dream I've had ever since I was a kid. In the dream, I'm in the light. Is this all there is, or do we... Oh! Pressing space doesn't actually advance the text. All that, that just shows you the full screen. Okay. Enter is our button of choice for this adventure. The stage is lit up by the dazzling lights. Many people have gathered here to listen to our performances. Yes, our performance. I'm not alone on the stage. Friends whom I trust are there with me. And because I'm surrounded by so many trusted friends, I'm able to concentrate on my performance. Of course, my violin is both my greatest friend and partner. I've been playing the violin since before I could remember. The violin is a part of me. It sings the exact same tune I wish it to. And when my violin sings a good tune, my friends in the orchestra respond with a wonderful performance. Each and every one of them is an individual, but the aggregation of each tune played by an individual is like a single creature. All of the guests who bought expensive tickets to hear our performance listen with rapt attention. This moment is priceless and irreplaceable by anything else. Even if something unpleasant occurred off stage, I can forget about it so long as I have this moment of bliss. It is the tale of a world illuminated by bright spotlights. It is a familiar scene, one I have dreamed of since I was a kid. Also, For anybody that doesn't actually have stage experience, whether it be in a band or orchestra or stage play or something like that, those lights are actually mad uncomfortable. I think it does really well with, like, hiding any stage fright that you could have, because, like, those lights are blinding. They do their job of illuminating and making sure the entire crowd can see you and, like, what's going on. But damn, can you not see anything other than the light. It does a good job of hiding the entire audience, but it is bright and it is warm. I have a bad problem with, like, sweating. I sweat a lot. And that shit makes me uncomfortable. I was in band growing up in, like, middle and early high school. So those are my experience with it. It's not a mere dream. Part of it was very real. Once I had obtained this dream. No, I nearly obtained it. But right as I thought I had, it suddenly vanished. In that instant, I suddenly lost all light and was thrust into darkness. The instant I lost my dream, even the world in my dreams changed completely. Now, whenever I sleep, I always see this dream. A world reigned by darkness. That moment was the end of the world to me. So many times I thought, this is a dream, please wake me up. Man, the music does a good job of, like, actually portraying his uncomfortableness. This is, like, good, creepy ambient music. So many times I thought, oh, perhaps this is why what I always see. Perhaps that is why I always see it in my dreams, and always wake up as I hoped. However, even when I wake up, the reality hasn't changed. Now my nightmare is my reality. I was taught that dreams are meant to be achieved, but now they were absolutely abominable. I was afraid to dream, but I was also afraid to wake up. I see. Then I had a thought. I have no place in the world anymore. My body filled with emptiness. I felt like my entire body was being ground into dust, like I was losing myself. Just where am I supposed to go from here? At that moment, I heard someone's voice. A song? It was light. It was a light, humming voice. It was a beautiful song that eased my mind as I listened to it. It sounded kind of familiar. This is supposed to be my dream, my nightmare. Just who could be singing so happily in my nightmare? No. I realized I was mistaken. This voice wasn't coming from my dream. Then, lured by that song, my consciousness was pulled up from the depths of my nightmare and into reality. Alright. Overdrive presents. This is our opening, DearDrops. Who was singing in our dream? What caused us to have that wonderful dream of life in the orchestra as a professional violinist? What ruined that? And how will we go forward? Guess we're gonna figure all this out. Jesus, that was a bad mispronunciation. A single girl was singing pleasantly beneath the blue sky. She wasn't raising her voice to sing. She was humming. Yet strangely, her faint voice carried well. As I opened my eyes slightly, I saw her profile. It was a familiar, well-known face. It had been many years since I last saw her, but her impression was still the same. Sakura Kanade. The childhood friend whom I grew up with in this city. Oh, now I remember. I was waiting here to meet Kanade. It's been several years since we last met. After all, I haven't been back to this city in several years. My head began to clear as Kanade continued to sing. I was completely awake from my nightmare now. With my mind fully clear now, I opened my eyes. Hey, and that's a nice thing going from one VN to the other. We actually have proper voice acting this time. At least for everybody that's not the main character, which, you know, that's proper voice acting in majority of visual novels. You're not going to find all too many, I feel, where the main character is also voiced. At least during majority of the gameplay. You might have a few special instances, but Or majority of the story, rather. Kanade hadn't noticed me open my eyes and continued happily humming. I leisurely watched as she enjoyed herself. It was enjoyable for me, too. Kanade's voice soaked into me like water into a dry sand. What a pleasant song. It was so natural. There was no force or strain. Was I like that at one point? Did I play music? Was I loved by music like this? As those questions came to mind, they pierced my heart. My past was full of sound which tormented me. I accidentally rested in pain. Then, Hanade looked at me. Our eyes met. Ah, didn't want to be discovered with your singing. Aw, man. But it was cute. Come on, come on. We were suddenly wrapped in silence, and then we heard the sound of the waves. I felt the salty breeze brushing against my cheeks. No, I didn't mean to sleep. When did you get here? Decided not to wake us because we were... Are we, like, on a shoreline? I hear the waves, so we must be on, like, a beach or something. Because I was about to say, like... I guess we must have agreed to meet up at some point. Or at some place, rather. Because if it's just like, there's our main character. He was just passed out on the beach. And then our childhood friend came up and decided not to wake us up, but instead sing next to us. No, I should stress, our childhood friend that we haven't seen in several years. I lifted myself up next to Kanade. Though my body felt heavy and trapped in mud during my dream, it lifted up easily. The lingering memory of my nightmare was gone. A relaxing ocean breeze blew against me. It had been about a week since I've returned to this country, but this was the first time I truly felt the wind of my home like this. The whole week had been hectic. Okay. So this isn't like immediately after touching down from wherever we were. This is like a bit after. Good. Kanade asked hesitantly. I guess she meant her humming. You could have kept singing. When I told her my honest thoughts, she suddenly looked as if the world had ended. Kanade was always uncomfortable during doing things in front of others. She was always uncomfortable with speaking her opinion to someone or singing before others. She found it embarrassing. You didn't need to be so bashful. I love your songs, Kanade. Also, dialogue is a little bit on the loud side, so I think I'm going to lower that just a bit. Because... sound settings. There we go, that's what we want. Let's go ahead and turn voice volume down, like, probably around there. That's probably good, because right now it's kind of overpowering everything else. Especially, like, in direct contrast to how quiet the music and sound effects are. Shoot, that's right, not space. Her tone sounded weird. Was it that upsetting? That's a bit too quiet. Sorry about this. This is just, you know, new VN, so we always have to play around with the settings that we're giving. Maybe that will work? It's always been like this. I wonder why she has such little confidence in herself. She's very perceptive of others and can look after them pretty well. She takes good care of others and yet not of herself. I guess the homely type people are definitely usually are, where they're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna put other people in front and worry about everybody else's needs before I worry about my own. That's definitely a problem that can happen. Can't argue with people's tastes. I love them, okay? Yeah. After all, it's my opinion. Are you gonna say my opinion is shit for liking the way your voice sounds and how good your singing is? At times like these, I'll say it a little forcefully, and then she won't be able to argue back. Damn. Just can't get one good way or the other on these sound settings, huh? There we go. And as expected, she bowed her head in thanks. We've been together since we were kids, so we knew each other well. But I've never heard that song before. Is it the latest hit? I've been away from Japan for so long that I was completely out of touch with what was popular here. But that was a pretty good song. I wonder whose song it was. It's her own. It's her own. It's her own little, like, mind tune. Whether or not it has any words is, like, kind of irrelevant, but the tune itself is good. Kanade denied it as best as she could. That suspicious behavior meant... Let me guess. It was a song you wrote, Kanade? Yeah. Head on the nail. Kanade nodded vaguely. She didn't seem to want to acknowledge others knowing very much, but Kanade's been composing songs since grade school. Kanade's father ran a live house, and she helped him with it since she was a child. It was a place where amateur rock bands and such can perform. Perhaps that had something to do with it. Though our genres were different, we were both raised together with music for as long as we can remember. Maybe that was one of the reasons why Kanade and I became close. I see. It's your song. Is there more to it? Aha! So that is our objective for this game, is to hear the full song. At least I want to hear the full song at this point. Why not? Give this girl the confidence boost she needs. Who wants to help me with my self-esteem issues? Then will you let me hear it when it's done? Is that bad? Just let us hear it. Come on. Kanade blushed and nodded slightly. It's a promise. I'm looking forward to it. Kanade, I'm sure it'll be fine. You're thinking too hard about it. As we continued to talk, my drowsiness went away. Yet, as I sat here talking to Kanade and gazing at the ocean like this, it all felt like a distant dream. It sure has been a while. How long has it been since I last relaxed like this? I always was busy with something or another. Yeah. Life of the orchestra, always practicing, never really have much free downtime. Especially if you're in like a really uppity one, and especially it sounds like he was, considering he was saying like people were spending like super high amounts of money in order to get tickets to the show, so that probably means he was in a really high-class orchestra, which means he probably really didn't have much downtime, especially for someone who was growing up. I do know that these, at least these two are like full adults, not in high school, like in their 20s or something like that, so like that means he didn't really have the time to actually be a teenager or a kid or anything like that, because all of his life was dedicated to the violin. Kanade said heartily. Has it been that long? 5 years, huh? 5 years ago, that was when I left this city. It was a long time that felt like both an instant and an eternity. I was fortunate enough to win first prize in a large contest, and I was adopted into a German orchestra. With the intention of devoting myself to music, I took a hold of my violin and left Japan. Everything was going without a hitch at that point. Or it was, until everything was destroyed in that moment. No, until I destroyed it all with my own hands. Looking back now, those were the worst 5 years of my life. There was no meaning to them. No. It would at least be better if there was no meaning. I can't yet look back at that time in a calm manner. I turned my eyes towards the scene earlier, fleeing from that sight. I have no idea, for reference, I have put like maybe 5 to 10 hours or something into this VN previously. And I have no idea what the previous incident was regarding everything with his orchestra past. So I wonder what it was that could make it, because regardless of what the incident was, for it to all come crashing down and just amount to nothing, to where you have to move back to your town, like you have to move back to your hometown and basically start at zero again, it has to be really big, and it has to be such a depressing, like, it has to be such a like depressing gravity of like that force hitting you of, I just spent the last 5 years of my life and I have nothing to show for it because it's all gone and I can't do anything anymore, and I'm no longer affiliated with that. You don't have nothing to show for it, because after all, you still have your memories. But if you're like in a stressful situation where you're in a major orchestra and you have to spend all your time, like, if you have to spend like all your time practicing and different things like that, then I'm sure there isn't, like, there's good memories there for sure, but the good's always going to remind you of the bad in this case. I turned my eyes towards the scene earlier, fleeing from that sight. The nostalgic beach was spread before me. The waves come and went for an eternity. This beach, the Deshko Beach, was chosen for 100 beautiful Japanese seasides. I grew up listening to the beautiful sound of these waves and feeling their rhythm. With summer nearly upon us, the ocean glowed with reflected sunlight. It was bright. I felt like I was catching glimpses of my lost past. My lost past was always bright. My chest ached. At the same time, sweat formed on my palms. I tightly grabbed my shirt to wipe it off. Ah, not doing too well. Just having bad memories. Don't worry. Hey, Kanada, you mind giving us some emotional support? Could probably be useful. Before I knew it, Kanada was looking at me with concern. Kanade. Yeah, I might be a little tired. I'm still feeling a bit jet-lagged, I guess. It's not the worst lie, I guess. You know, have to adjust from 5 years in Germany time to suddenly Japan time. Kanade followed suit and smiled back. I made it back from Germany okay, but for several reasons I couldn't stay at my home. I didn't have a job either. So without a job or a place to go, I was introduced to a live-in job by Kanade. I'd be working at the live house with that her family runs. I want to be there. I rather like that bus. It's like a secret base. Bus referred to the room that I would be borrowing. I actually high-key really like the room that he has. We're going to see it in a bit. I don't know if we're going to get to it in this first episode or not, but I absolutely love the aesthetic of it. Even though it's probably a bit of a trash heap, because I'm sure it doesn't get much in the way of insulation or like good like heating or things like that. I'm sure it like the aesthetic of it is fucking top notch. As for why it's called the bus, well, it's obvious once one sees it. I said it's fine. I think you're trying to be concerned and you're trying to do what's right for him and like push him back towards dreams and everything like that, but violin's definitely gonna be a touchy subject right about now. I'm sure. I spoke firmly, cutting her off. I knew what she was going to say. I've already given up the violin. Kanade didn't accept that. But she didn't know what else to say either. She's not giving up on it completely. She's just kind of letting the conversation drop in order to try again another day because, you know, violin's a big deal. That is a hard instrument to learn. That is a hard instrument to learn and requires a lot of dedication. And if you're at like national orchestra level, then you are fucking like top notch, dude. Regardless of what the accident is, you could probably still pick it back up and do pretty well for yourself. If not like professionally, then you could always go independent. There is a demand. I'm not taking a break. I gave it up. I was about to say that, but decided it wouldn't be mature. Kanade was saying it because she was truly worried about me. Come on, we should be going. I stood up as I gazed at the ocean in my hometown. I never dreamed that I would be returning here like this. The ocean hadn't changed a bit, and neither had my childhood friend. However, I had changed greatly. Maybe not. I don't know. You never know. You're only seeing the surface level of everything, and we've only known her for, you know, re-known her for about a week, so we can't really say if she has or hasn't changed. Because I'm sure the same is being said in her mind of you, of like, he hasn't changed. Because as much as people want to think that, like, a lot of people don't. A lot of people change, but a lot of people are the same. Like, they can both change and be the same. even though that's a bit of an oxymoron, but like the root of your person stays the same while you change because, you know, growing up and stuff like that. Kanade looked at me after recalling something. Hey, thanks. You're a week late, but you know what? It's fine. Kanade's voice gently seeped into me like the sound of the waves. Glad to be home. I replied in a soft voice, because I couldn't proudly say that I was glad. But by saying those words, I was finally able to feel like I'd come home. Home to the city where I was born and raised. Perhaps I only felt that way because there were people here to welcome me back like this. It had been a while, yeah, and if you look up there, you can see the bus. I am super duper interested in how the fuck that bus got up there. How could it possibly have gotten up there? But, you know, I don't think we're going to get an answer for that. I desperately want to know. I desperately want to know. This was the live house run by Kanade's father. This is kind of nostalgic. I guess being nostalgic is only natural. I never came here that frequently in the first place, and towards the end, things were really hectic as I left Japan in a hurry. 10 years! That is a lot! Decade, huh? Decade. You might be right. That was because my father was opposed to me going to such places. Ah, the strict father. The asshole father. We're not going to talk to this father. If you have such free time, then you spend it on your lessons. That was my father's favorite line. My father loathed the idea of coming into contact with any music other than classical. Ah, so the ideals were pushed onto you rather than you coming into them on your own. Of course, of course. That man doesn't understand anything. My father, music's just... Ugh, what a stupid thing to remember. I'm finally getting a new start, so I need to refresh my attitude. Is Master back in the studio? The first floor reception, the first floor was the reception for the studio, and the basement was the live house. The live house usually doesn't open for business until evening. I should go and greet Master for now. Just as I went to open the front door. Aha, so we're going to be greeted first. I assume this is Master? A girl who looked like an elementary schooler came out. Chika answered and then looked up at me. Oh. Uh-huh. This girl was Kanade's little sister, Chika-chan. I've known her since the day she was born. Though I was surprised. Yeah. You know, you go away for 5 years and then suddenly what was once a baby is now an actual, like, full-grown child. That tends to happen. Time doesn't stop just because you're not there. To be frank, I nearly didn't recognize her. But I guess that's only natural. When I left Japan, Chika-chan had yet to even start elementary school. How old are you now, Chika-chan? Chika-chan got angry and puffed her cheeks out when I asked. I recognize this voice actress. Give me a second so I can fucking Google this because it definitely sounds like, it definitely sounds like Rie Kugamiya? Is that who it is? Let me check. It isn't. Sorry for the Windows noise. It definitely sounds like it. It sounds like the voice she does for Vern from Grand Blue. Sorry, I'm just looking up just a little bit of information real quick. Yeah. Okay. It definitely sounds like her Vern voice, but I'm most likely mistaken on that. Sorry, I autopilot to space every time because space is my natural, like, hey, this is your advanced text button. 10 years. Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't I'm surprised. I didn't recognize her for a second. We can say you're cute. Stop being a brat. It looks like she's grown quite reliable in the years I've been gone. Yeah, then if you'll excuse me. Kanade took the lead and entered the store. Just as I went to follow her, I felt something tug at my clothes from behind. Ah, Chika, what's up, what's up? Chika-chan looked at me from with hesitation. No need to be bashful. We've known you since you were like a literal baby. Though it's one of those things where it's like you probably don't even remember this guy. Or if you do, it's just barely. You were 5 when you took off to Germany. Aha! I assume you're master then. The man who greeted me with a dandy smile was Kanade's father and the owner of the business, Sakurai Sado. Sado? Yeah, Sado. Everyone just calls him Master. It seems Master used to be a bandman himself, but now he's just a regular friendly old man. Good to see you. I don't really know what to say. Sorry for all the trouble. Starting today, this was my home. Ah, so the week that we spent wasn't actually like a week spent here. It was, I wonder where we stayed. Maybe at a hotel? Because it sounds like he desperately didn't really want to stay with family, so that probably wasn't our go-to. I was truly grateful to him for welcoming me in, despite my circumstances. If he hadn't, then no joke, I may have been sleeping in some park tonight. Ah, yeah. So we were definitely staying somewhere else for the week. I assume. I hope we weren't actually sleeping out on the street or, God forbid, the beach. Master spoke proudly. Not at all. Place is the same as usual, and it's pretty stylish. I like the atmosphere here. Lots of alcohol. I was expecting this to be more of a cafe than a bar, but you know, it is what it is. If I hadn't changed at all from what it hadn't changed at all from what I remembered when I first came here. I'm surprised. I feel like I've gone back in time. I'm sure the minor details had changed, but at least the atmosphere was still the same. That's why it felt like time had stopped. You haven't changed at all either, Master. It had been a long time, but that nickname came naturally to the tongue. I still remember him warning me to call him Master when I was calling him Old Man as a kid. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Oyaji! Oh my god, that's fun, that's fun. Master has been master to me ever since. Ji-san! Quite a few more. You've got a full mop of that shit now, Master. The only one that looks different is is this one here. Ah, yeah. I mean, oh no, I probably kind of did. You know. Chika-chan scrunched her shoulders bashfully. Aha, the rebellious. No, she's grown quite a bit bigger. You just don't realize it since you see her every day. I nearly didn't even know who she was, honestly. Yeah. Whatever you say, brat. What the fuck? I never thought those words would come from Chika-chan. Ugh. Yeah, cheeky indeed. Chika is cheeky. She was so charming I could hardly help but smile. Super cheeky. Master and Kanade were both smiling too. I guess Chika-chan is entering that difficult age too. Yeah. Around 10, that's when you stop wanting to fucking be with your parents and like, oh, stop embarrassing me, Dad! They do say that women mature earlier than men. Does she bite? I hope not. Master laughed while dealing with Chika-chan as she lunged at him. Hopefully she doesn't bite him. I'm worried about that bite. Kanade watched it all with a smile. I couldn't help but laugh at their heartwarming exchange. This place hasn't changed at all. It's still relaxing.
翔一、何笑ってるのよ。笑うとこじゃないわよ。
Sorry. Anyway, Chika-chan, don't you have school today? Ah, yeah. Was it just... Yeah, it's a weekday, so... Off to elementary school you go, unless you took the day off to welcome us, but that's a bit weird. You could always see us after we get home, after all. She should still be in school at this time. She played hooky. Put the thermostat next to the light bulb. Chika-chan yelled at her right in the face. She went to the trouble of skipping school just to greet. How the fuck are you okay with this, Master? Kanade came all the way to pick me up. Master took me in without asking anything. And Chika-chan took off school just to wait for me. I thought I had no place left to go home to, but with everyone welcoming me like this. Chika-chan, thank you. Listen, the last thing we need in like the first half an hour or like the first hour of this game is for a 10-year-old to be getting tsundere over us. Sure, thank you very much. A lot of things happened. I lost my place in the world, then I ran away back to Japan. But I finally felt like I might be able to start anew here. No. For the sake of everyone who's taken me in, I have to get my act together. Alright, and yeah, this is our bus. This is what we've been referring to. This is what we were talking about in the beginning of the game. Like I said, probably awful. Absolutely awful for insulation. Probably doesn't get much in the way of heating. I do see a faucet, so we do have plumbing at the very least. Probably don't have a bathroom. Probably have to go in the main room for that. We have some basic... We have like a whole bunch of alcohol there in the back if you see the cabinet there. But, you know, more than anything else, this is actually like mad comfy. This is like mad comfy for no reason. I love this. I love the atmosphere of this. This is like, I don't know if I'd want this for a room necessarily, but as a hangout spot, if we had like a spacious fucking bus for that shit, that would be cool. Like if I could get like just a trashed fucking like a city bus or something and make something cool out of it like this, I'd be super down. I really love the atmosphere of this. There are people that do that. I'm like, go and take old vehicles or different things like that. I guess like people who do like super confined houses and stuff like that. I know I've seen YouTube videos on it for sure. She led me to the bus on top of the roof. They had taken the bus from somewhere and remodeled the inside so it could be used as a room. Yep, they're there. I've always wondered this, but how did they ever get it up on... Yeah, no, like, seriously, like, how the fuck does this work? You have to, like, pay some hefty money. Like, I imagine you could get some construction vehicles out here, like a crane or something along those lines in order to haul it up, or maybe a helicopter, or I don't know. But you have to pay a fucking hefty sum in order to get that worked out. There aren't any legal problems with this, are there? I'm sure they probably would have came at them a lot earlier if there was. But I always admired this place when I was a kid, since it was like a secret base. And a little bit of dust won't kill us. This is pretty clean for me. Oh, that's cute. It was like an actual hidden... What I wonder what like spurned this. Like, hey, what made Master decide one day, yeah, let's drag a bus on top of the roof? Oh yeah, you did. Not only has Kanade always found it hard to throw things away, she was the kind of kid who'd bring strange things home. Ah, yeah. Keep everything cluttered. Can't throw anything away. Why would I ever throw this birthday card away from 3 years ago? Someone gave this to me and it meant something to them, so I shouldn't get rid of that because it would be rude. Oh, but check out this cool stick I found in the backyard. Mom, can I take it home? The bathrooms are only 1 floor down. We only have a shower here, though. Okay. Soak in the tub, you can come to our house. Ah, okay. So we're actually just taking up room at the shop, and this isn't the shop. It doesn't double as a house for them too. But you know, shower's fine. Taking a long mist bath did sound attractive, but I was reluctant to ask for even more favors. Yeah, at that point, you're definitely when you're like, hey, I'm getting room and board and everything like that. Don't know if it's free. I assume we're probably like working our pay, working our rent here, but. When we're already getting room and board and we're like on top, like especially just very suddenly out of the blue, I assume it's definitely one of those things where you can't really be like, hey, you mind if I come over to your house and take a bath real quick? I could use one. It would be super relaxing. Oh yeah, there used to be a public bath nearby. Maybe I'll go there tonight. Yeah, that's how you work it. Be less rude, and you can possibly meet people there. Establish some more connections. Kanade's house was about 5 minutes away from here. It's not that far, but a 10-minute trip in the morning is a bit rough. No, that's not bad at all. That's like, if it's 5 minutes there and 5 minutes back, that's like actually nothing. That's a song. Like, I don't know when this VN was actually released, but if it wasn't in the era of MP3 players, you could still fucking grab a CD player and like toss it in your backpack or something like that. That is a song's distance away, a song and a half at most. That is a comfortable. Plus, you know, morning walks are good for you. There's a kitchen? Then I'll make it myself. What do you think? Yeah. Okay, he actually did just, he did actually learn to cook. Good for him. That is an important life skill. You're overreacting. It's just food. I only learned how because it was necessary. If I didn't cook for myself, I had to go out to eat. And that would have, yeah, both money and time, and that would have, if you don't know how to cook or don't want to settle for, like, instant stuff all the time, then that would have built up money fast. Like, that would have built up the amount of expenditures really, really fast. So, you know, learning to cook is good for yourself. Since I wanted to spend every minute and every second I could playing the violin, I had to cook for myself. There were a lot of times where I went without to avoid the trouble, though. That's not good. Starving yourself so you can practice isn't a good etiquette to practice. Yeah, anytime you want. I can't offer much, though. I think it's less your cooking and more that it's your cooking. Kanade was leaping with joy. Kanade normally handles all the meals, so maybe she... No. Come on, don't be that dense. You can do it. I believe in you, Protag. Kanade's mother passed away in an accident when Chika-chan was still young. Since then, Kanade's been in charge of the house. I mean it. Come in for a meal. I'll treat you to something. They're letting me stay here, so this is the least I can do. Yeah, you know, okay, even outside of like, haha, she probably has a crush on you and everything like that because childhood friend rules. Even beyond that, it's still nice to actually, you know, take the burden off of someone's shoulders for a day and, you know, hey, don't worry about it, I'll cook, and hey, don't worry about it, I'll be the one to clean, or I'll be the one to do dishes, or, I'll fold the clothes for you. I wanna do the right thing. So sick of doing the wrong thing. I wanna fold clothes for you. I think that's enough for now. I'm sure there'll be things that I can't remember that'll come up though. Yeah, because right now, like, you know, worried about being overbearing, but I'm sure at this point Kanade wants us to lean on her, especially since we haven't been around for 5 years and we're kind of in a bind. She seems like the motherly type person. Well, now my life here is about to start. One completely different from the life I've lived so far. Phew. I lay my warm body on the sofa. The cushions were a little firm and they creaked as I lay down. I somehow finished putting away my luggage and had just come back from washing off at the public bath. I'd wanted to take a nice relaxing bath instead of a shower, at least for today. I was still sweating, partly because I stayed in too long. It's been a long time since I was in such a large bath. Yeah. I was about to say, I'm not sure about Germany because I've never really looked into German culture, but Japan is definitely one of the more unique ones in like bath culture, which sounds a bit weird to say, but you know, it is what it is. I felt like my body was remembering that I'm Japanese as I sat in the hot water of that large bath. Because okay, a lot of the more baths are just for like they're for soaking in and relaxing, but like it always seemed, of course, from anime and manga, so very much an asterisk. It always seemed like Japanese baths were much more. They were much more grand and much bigger and much more standard. Of like, hey, this is an expectation, rather than a luxury. Maybe this is what they meant by. Maybe this is what they mean by rejuvenated. Still, it's awfully hot. Crack open a window. It is summer. We didn't have this in Germany either. Even though I was tired, I didn't think I could sleep because of that, being in a new bed. Oh well. I'll just practice a bit. And nope, 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 nope. I reached out my hand, but I wandered through the air in vain. I had unconsciously tried to grab my violin. Habits are terrifying. If it's only been like a week since everything has broken down, or like at the very least still even like a couple weeks to a month, that's like a very short amount of time in order to try and break a habit that was formed in years and decades. I reached my hand out unconsciously, but its goal was no longer with me. I had already cast aside my violin. That's right. That's right. I spoke in a lighthearted tone, trying not to think about it. Still, I felt despondent when I laid back down on the sofa again. I decided that I would never play it again. I told myself that many times, but I said it again. There's no reason for me to continue with it, and others wouldn't allow me to anyway. Continuing in the violin would only bring hardship. I'll never play it again. I told myself again. Then, I felt a pain from somewhere outside of my body. It was a phantom pain. It came from just in front of my left shoulder, and it was about the size of my violin. Of course, there wasn't anything there. Just empty space. The space with nothing hurt. How could something as stupid as empty space hurting ever happen? Besides, it wasn't even a part of my body originally. That's why it was just my imagination. Nothing more than a phantom pain. However, it was a very real physical pain asserting itself to my body. Felt like I had a violin-sized hole in my body. I mean, dude, you spent fucking like a decade and a half more than likely. Or even more. Probably more. Probably spent like somewhere around 17 years playing the fucking violin, dude. Like, calm down. These things and these habits and these like wants, if you are truly like trying to give it up and you aren't being like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Not edgy, but like you know, downer and just being a bit over dramatic, then like if you are truly on that giving up train, it's gonna take a while to get your body, to train your body to not deal or have those expectations, especially if it's been drilled into you as hard as I assume it has. It takes a while to get used to not having that same day in and day out repetition of practice. Why am I thinking about such stupid things? I should go cool my head off. I heaved a heavy sigh and opened my window wide for a change in atmosphere. A surprisingly cool breeze blew into my room. The air was refreshing. It smelled of salt. Ah, yeah, Ocean Town. Ocean Man. I just remembered that I had stopped by the convenience store on my way back and bought some beer. I fished through the plastic bag and popped one open. How does that taste, my guy? I coughed from the strong carbonation. Oh, that's why. It's bitter. Is this how beer tasted? I've always been weak against liquor, so even though I was in Germany, I hardly drank any beer. I typically got drunk as soon as I had drank any. Ah, you're a lightweight. The biggest lightweight. And if I was drunk, that would hinder my practice. Ah, so you're also a square. Not only a lightweight, but a square. Both 2 for 1, my guy. But that doesn't matter anymore. I can drink as much beer as I want from now on, and if I can't sleep, I can just drink, pass out. That's not advisable. That really, really isn't advisable. Think about the other people. If I'm passed out, then I might avoid... this is not a healthy coping mechanism, my guy. I poured the bitterness down my throat. Was beer always this bitter? I was getting lightheaded. Now I can't hold my liquor, but to get drunk off of just one can... You are the filthiest lightweight that is ever lightweight. Like, that is impressive. Do you have, like, food in your stomach? Have you drank anything today? Is this the only sustenance, or quote-unquote sustenance, that you've touched today? Because one beer can for getting drunk. Like, strong zero's a thing. But fuck, dude. Fuck. The wind was filled with evening dew that clung to my skin. It's like I'm kind of empty. Free, huh? What does it mean to be free? To have nothing. To be nothing. Is that it? What am I supposed to do from here on? What will I be doing next year? 5 years from now? 10 years from now? I've never thought about that before. Even once. Because I thought that I would always be playing the violin. But now I have nothing. With nothing left, how am I going to live from here on? I really am pathetic for getting drunk off of just this. I closed my eyes. My world was darkness. In one moment, my world was hurled into darkness, like wind closing one's eyes. Just go to sleep already. Then morning will come on its own. Once it's bright out, I'm sure these thoughts will vanish right away. Then I heard a faint sound carried by the wind. It really was faint, but I could tell that it was carving some rhythm. It was some kind of music. The live house? The music sounded like it was coming from the live house in the basement. It really was faint. I don't mean to brag about it, but my ears are good. Trained musician, kind of have to worry about that. The sound felt faint like feathers, but I was drawn to it. I guess I'll go take a little peek. Don't stumble around there, lightweight. That is loud! That is mad loud! I guess it fits the live house aesthetic, at the very least. Now I've got to shout in order to get over. Nah, not really. It's loud, but not that loud. The moment I opened the door, a flood of sound spilled out. I felt like I was being pushed back by the sound of the sound, or the wave of sound, rather. But I stood firm and held against it. After the sound came the light. I squinted my eyes as the bright light rushed over me. Huh? Sound before light? Yeah, sound travels faster than light. No, light travels faster than sound. What the fuck? No sound can be faster than light. Yeah, no, I got my sound physics fucked up there. It's common knowledge that the speed of light is faster. I was dumb. I was really dumb. Fuck, I'm super dumb. Anyway, just now I did feel the sound before the light. It was like a bundle of sound with a huge mass. I even felt like my head had been hit by that violent flood of sound. My head was dizzy. Was it because I was drunk? No. It felt like someone clobbered me in the head. What is this? It was different from any sound I knew. What was this? I'm sure this was music too. But it was completely different from the music I had played. Lots of people were fiercely moving their bodies amidst the flood of light and sound. Some were jumping, some were stomping, some were shaking their heads like wild. It was hard to believe that anyone in this display of movement was sane. This scene looked like some kind of ritual. This is music? I felt like my values about what music was had been shattered to pieces. Take that, classical boy. Welcome to the world of rock. There was music like this in the world? Of course I knew it was called rock. I'd heard of the genre known as rock. Of course, I had listened to it a little bit. But this is... The first time I got to hear it live was completely different from the rock I knew. Yeah, but that could be said for any genre of music. The live atmosphere just amplifies music so well, and like it's just a different experience. It's a different experience. Is it really right to call this music? These notes thrown off by distortion? This violent sound with only volume and not a fragment of delicacy? I couldn't tell if this performer was good or not. If he's producing such distorted notes, does that mean he's a beginner? If that's the case, then what's with all this emotional ring that calls to the heart? What was this unknown element that's driving the audience so wild? My ears immediately started ringing from this roar. My head grew numb. Before I knew it, I was drowning in this flood of sound. I couldn't understand it at all. I couldn't comprehend this music. And yet, why did it captivate me so much? At least we managed to claw our way back home. Or back to the room. Don't worry about it. You got home somehow. Next thing I knew, I was lying down on the sofa in my room with the lights off. I could still hear the thunderous sound. Yeah, no. That ringing isn't going away anytime soon. That is going to sit there for a minute. Ears are still ringing. Wouldn't listening to that noise make one go deaf? Probably! That's why you wear headphones. That was my first time hearing such violent sounds. Why was everyone so excited over such a violent performance? Or, if you're not going to concerts like a ton, then you don't really need it, and you could just let the ring happen. Get that fucking tinnitus going, baby. Why was everyone so excited over such a violent performance? Never see anyone acting like that. That's because that's not the place. If you acted like that, if you started fucking headbanging and like fucking moshing to like classical music, you're gonna be looked at like you're insane. You're gonna that is a little bit insane. Music is sound to be enjoyed, but there were no manners or anything to that. It was a mess. That's because you don't have to have manners to enjoy something. There are several different ways to enjoy something, and hey, you don't even have to be all like one way or the other. You could be the type of person that is you could always be the type of person that likes both. There's a time to where you're like, oh yes, I do love me some classical music. I will bathe in its atmosphere and joy. And then there's some times where you want to go, yeah, woo! There's a time and a place for everything, but it's not now. My ears hurt. If I were at a place like that every day, I really might go deaf. At least I at least had some confidence in my hearing. Is that really music? I wasn't sure. My mind's not working at all. Liquor must be coming around. You drank like shitty store beer, dude. Come off it. You had one. Before I knew it, I was asleep. That night, I didn't dream for once. No good dreams and no nightmares either. And that'll do it for the first part of DearDrops. I think we're going to probably be doing, because I'm pretty sure this is kind of like a chapter by chapter thing. Not necessarily strictly like, yeah, this is our chapter, but how do I save? There we go. Save and load. Let's go ahead and save. Okay. Not necessarily like actual chapters, but it's split into like days and segments like that. So I think I'm probably going to try and do one of those an episode. Well, we'll see. This was a pretty strong start, I say. So yeah. I hope to see you guys next time, where we're probably going to be acclimating more to the everyday life of back home and everything like that, and seeing what is up with that so-called music. Is this music? I don't know. But I'm sure we're going to find out. Thank you guys so much for watching this first episode of DearDrops, and I hope to see you guys next time. Take care, guys.